Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like, and share buttons. And on that note, if you're on YouTube, make sure that if you've hit the subscribe button in the past, that you are still subscribed, because I've been getting a lot of reports and feedback from people that they have subscribed and now they're unsubscribed, and that's not something that they've done. That doesn't surprise me based on what I see on the YouTube statistics end. It's something called shadow banning. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of this, but let's get right into it today and talk about what's going on right now. So I want to hit on several stories that are happening right now that I believe are relevant either directly or indirectly to Bible prophecy. So let's talk about those now, starting with this one right here. This is from Reuters. It says Russia expects to reach agreement on gas hub project with Turkey soon. So there are ongoing discussions right now between Russia and Turkey to transform Turkey into a gas hub with infrastructure and pipelines put in place to get oil and natural gas from Russia into, well, many places, but Europe in particular. You may say, well, I thought that Europe said that it wasn't going to use Russian gas and oil. Well, that's what they say. But what we've been seeing is a lot of that's been going to India, and then India turns around and sells it to Europe. And then Europe can say, well, we're not buying it from Russia. We're buying it from India. So they're just buying more expensive oil and natural gas than they were otherwise receiving when it came directly into Europe. But this would be a lot more efficient than sending that out to India and other places. So this is something to keep in mind as we look at the formation of the Gog of Magog alliance from Ezekiel 38 and 39. We know that Turkey and Russia are two of the major players in that alliance. Turkey is a member of NATO. The sole purpose of NATO was to keep Russia from invading Europe. So we know that Turkey, the NATO would prefer that Turkey not buddy up to Russia. But again, let's look at where is this alliance likely to go. We have NATO offering Turkey war with Russia, Russia offering Turkey oil and gas wealth. What do you think's most likely? Which side do you think Turkey is most likely to choose? And then, of course, we know there's massive natural gas reserves right off the coast of Israel. There's been discussions in the past between Israel and Turkey and how to route that to Europe as well. So this is an area, natural gas, oil, but natural gas in particular, because they're talking about gas pipelines, liquefied natural gas ports for both import and export. They've had a lot of importing of natural gas in the past, because again, Turkey isn't creating any meaningful amount of fossil fuels itself. So to become a gas hub, it would need Russia in order to do that. So this is one we're going to keep our eye on. We keep seeing these nations that are involved in the Gog of Magog alliance become closer and closer together, building these stronger ties. We talked at the beginning of the year about Russia and Iran trying to create an OPEC of natural gas. They want to bring the United Arab Emirates and Qatar on board with that. They want to try to be able to set the price on the world stage for natural gas in the same ways that OPEC does that for oil. Not that they're as meaningful or able to change the prices they have been in the past, but that's what they're aiming for. And so we see these countries coming closer and closer together. That's what we would expect. We know the Gog of Magog alliance, this war, this invasion of Israel takes place in the latter days when the nation of Israel has been gathered back into the land from all the nations of the world. So we know this is the time, the season of that, and that it is a sign that we're getting close to the tribulation and the second coming of Christ. So significant story there. Also want to take a look at this one. This is from Politico. It says Israel could open second front in Lebanon defense minister hints. So the defense minister was speaking to a group of municipal leaders in northern Israel. They've had 80,000 citizens evacuated from the areas closest to the Lebanon border due to attacks from and threats of further attacks from Hezbollah against Israel. And the warning from the Israeli defense minister was, don't be quick to return, because we plan to make sure that Hezbollah moves back behind the Litani River in southern Lebanon. So this is probably 15 miles north of where Hezbollah is located now, or has a presence now. This was determined at the end of the 2006 conflict. A UN resolution determined that that was the point at which Hezbollah would not cross. Surprise, surprise, they broke that commitment. They broke that promise. How likely do you think they're willing to simply retreat backward based on Israel's request or living up to that commitment versus having to be forced to do that by Israel? And Israel is intent that another October 7th will not take place. If they're going to make certain of that, Hezbollah cannot be that close to Israel's borders. So this raises the prospect that you could see a preemptive strike, or an escalation, I guess you could say, because certainly there's been an ongoing conflict there for 2 months now. But we could see an escalation of the northern front. What does this mean? Would this mean that we would see the fulfillment of Isaiah 17, which calls for the destruction of Damascus, Damascus ceasing to be a city, something that hasn't been fulfilled in all of history? Damascus is the longest continuously inhabited city on the planet. So it's my opinion. Some people disagree. People who are absolute Bible prophecy and Bible experts, they believe that's not the case. I hold a different point of view. I would encourage you to study those scriptures for yourself. But I would think that this very well could be a major event that could take place in the very near future with significant implications for Bible prophecy. So that's another one we want to keep our eye on. And then we have this right here. So this is information from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis on the Bank Term Funding Program. Now, we spoke about this a week ago in an alert we did, where I said, I think there is a financial crisis imminent, coming at any time. We had these bank glitches that took place. And so I want to take a look. First, let's take a look at this chart, the max of this chart. Notice there was no bank term funding program ever until all the bank failures that took place in March of this year, the second, third, and fourth largest bank failures in U.S. history. They created this program to bail out an insolvent banking system. In other words, the banks are bankrupt, guys, and so they created this in order to paper over that, in order to patch the hole a little bit. I liken it to, you've got a leaking boat, and the Federal Reserve keeps sticking their finger in the holes, but more and more holes keep popping up. And so we saw, following the last of those bank failures, this tended to level off. I think the last one was Signature in May, at least of the major bank failures. So we saw this program, again, this is a temporary funding program. These loans under the program are only for 1 year, and after 1 year, they have to be paid back in full. How likely do you think that is? I'll give it a 0% chance, because they're bankrupt. They can't pay them back. And so we talked in a previous video a few months back about March 15th, when a lot of this is going to come due, the beginning amounts of this. So a year from now, by April, half of this is going to be, more than half of this is going to be due. It's going to have a huge impact on the market. I would expect that they would say, well, we're going to extend this. Once the market starts to figure that out, people start to figure out the banks are bankrupt. What happens? It could have huge implications for the financial markets. And so we look at after that third large bank failure, we saw things level off at a little over $100 billion. So note one, that this isn't being paid back, but it seemed to level off. And then we see there's a little blip right here, first week of October, I'm sorry, where it went up $1 billion, $2 billion. That was the time we saw those Japanese glitches. the banks in Japan glitched, and looks, none of the transactions are working. It's a glitch, right? And then we saw it move up again the first week of November when, well, the same type of glitch, coincidence, just happened in the United States. All the largest banks, you put in a deposit on Thursday, Monday rolls around, it's still not in there. It's just a glitch, right? And they've had all these other glitches, and the treasury auctions had some issues, but it was a ransomware attack. And then it happens again 3 weeks later. Oh, it's a glitch, right? At some point, people figure out that these glitches aren't glitches. And last week, I said, be prepared. Every Friday going forward, make sure you have a full tank of gas. Make sure that you have a deep pantry. Because at some point, the glitches are going to explode into something much bigger that they can't claim are glitches anymore. I don't know how close we are to that. Are we a few days away, or is it this weekend? Is it a month from now, 6 months from now? I don't know. But we made that video last week right here, and now look at this. So we're up another 8 billion in 1 week. So why are the banks coming to the Bank Term Funding Program? Well, we made that clear in last week's video. Because they're bankrupt. They're insolvent. They just haven't failed yet because they're being propped up by programs like this, and because there haven't been massive bank runs yet. But guys, all of this is setting the stage for a catastrophic financial crisis, perhaps one that will be used to move us into central bank digital currency. So if you missed last week's video, make sure to go back and watch that. I'm going to leave you with this story right here along similar lines. It says, Barclays closes branch and tells customers to use van and graveyard. So here's a picture of it. This is where what banking has come to, right? So they used to have the bank with the big stone, marble columns. It's a strong bank with a big vault. You can feel secure parking your cash at this bank. Now they've said, who are we kidding? Come to our van. I think it's the van's only open 2 days a week. I think, Monday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Every Monday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come to the van down at the graveyard. Now, guys, I know this is just a one-off instance, but it is symbolic of where the banking system stands right now. Again, if you watched last week's video, you know the banks are insolvent. They're sitting on record unrealized losses. Maybe they'll stay that way. My guess is they will turn into, or at least some of those unrealized losses will turn into real losses. And what are the implications for the global economy when that happens? And what does that mean for central bank digital currency that we know they want to push on all of us? So, guys, those are the things going on right now. Again, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that if you've subscribed in the past, check, make sure you're still subscribed if you're on YouTube, because that's where this is going on. And from day one, I hesitated to even put videos on YouTube for the reason of censorship and shadow banning and all the things that were going on. But at the end of the day, I decided if one person comes to know Christ as a result of putting the videos on YouTube, why wouldn't I do it? It's not that big of a deal to put them up there. But guys, it's clear, I can see from around July, this channel was exploding. I think 4,000 subscribers in that month. Since then, no. Yeah, last month I think the channel added 100 subscribers, right? And that's great. 100 people, if one of those comes to Christ, that's great. But I can see from the stats where sometimes I even look at it and you can see it tick down. It'll go up 1 and down 2, and up 1 and down 2. And there's shadow banning is a real thing where they don't outright come out and say, well, we're going to censor your channel. But they just slowly set an algorithm that unsubscribes people, maybe buries the thumbnails of the videos deep down where they never get seen. I have a project in place right now. You'll know more about it at the beginning of the year. I've still got some things to work through, but it's going to help overcome all of this. One of the ways you can overcome this censorship now is to make sure to go in the description and sign up for the email list. It's free, and these videos, you'll get free email notifications of each of these videos. That way, if for whatever reason YouTube or even Rumble or another channel decides, well, we're just going to shut down Britt's channel altogether, we have that direct connection over email. I'll just move to a different platform and we'll stay connected. But if we don't have that connection, then it's a very real possibility that they could just do what they're doing now, which is the shadow banning and tamping down visibility of this channel. So again, if you've subscribed in the past, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. You may have been unsubscribed without your knowledge. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, I encourage you to do that. It'll help hopefully spread this channel, although who knows, at least on YouTube with what's going on right now. But guys, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of these stories. I believe they're indicative of the times in which we live and that Jesus Christ could return at any moment. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe buttons. And God willing, I will see you on Monday. Bye. If you want to learn more about the end times and Bible prophecy, make sure to sign up for my free monthly newsletter and get your copy of my free ebook, 7 Signs of the End Times. Just follow the link in the description to get your free book. Also, make sure to check out all of my books. Just look up Britt on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, or anywhere books are sold. Thanks for watching today, and until next time, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.